From Screen Junkie Studios in the heart of Los Angeles, this is Screen Junkies Movie Fights. Now your host, Andy Signore.
Hello, Screen Junkies, and welcome to a loud episode of Movie Fights. So excited because today is a viewer's choice episode. That's right. This episode has three fighters that you, the viewers at home, voted for. Let's get straight to them. Look who's here, guys. You voted for Mike Carlson, Coy Jandreau, and John Roca are back here. Now, here's how this works. I'll go through your interests in a second, but I'll explain. There we go. Mike gets his first, I guess. This is how this show's going to work. This is a important one because the winner of this show will come back in 2 weeks to take on the man on the fact-checking couch. Woo! Oh, almost. They're going to come back. The winner here will come back to take on JTE and Scott Mance, who already earned seats at that table. Yeah.
Controversially.
So next week's fight will feature, not next week, 2 weeks. Next week we're doing a DC fight, all DC topics. It's going to be great. The week after that will be the finals, championship finals, which will feature JTE, Scott Mance, and the winner of this chair. Now, the winner of that battle goes on to take the champ on one-on-one in an epic championship. The belt is on the line fight. Dan, how you feeling?
I'm great. My headphones are really loud. I can't wear them.
Yeah, everything's super loud.
They're super loud. I'm great. It's been a long time. That's much better. Thank you. It's been
You're a lot brighter today, too.
So long since it's week to week. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've been able to fight for the belt. And I love fighting for the belt. I want to fight for the belt more. I want to fight one of these guys for the belt if they should advance, or if it's JTE, or if it's Mance. Whomever it is, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to scrap.
All right. Well, now you're super soft in my headphones.
I can't hear anything.
I love it. It's just like,
there we
okay.
go. That's a good level.
Good. Feels
All
like
right.
Goldilocks.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see how this goes. If you guys are watching live, it's hashtag Movie Fights Live on Twitter. Dan will be chiming in. But let's talk about today's fight. It's going to be worst movie in the Alien franchise. You guys are going to pitch a Venom solo movie. And you're going to tell me what is the worst movie poster and the most unwatchable movie. Some fun stuff today. Let's meet our fighters once again. These are who you guys chose. First up, get that hashtag Botanicus ready. It's Mike Carlson.
Fire it up, baby. Here, I'm back. I'm thankful to be a fan's choice. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing my normal clothes.
Yep, he did. He came right in from the elevator on that. Mm-hmm. Coy, the master of the speed round. Welcome back, sir.
Fans, thank you. I really wanted to be here, so the fact that I am, this is the most honed I've felt. So thank you for getting me this chair.
This is your second chance at the title. We opened up the floodgates to even let the people who lost the last show to come back because we thought this is the fans' choice. It's their call, not ours. Mm-hmm. So you're back. How you feeling this time? Did you learn from the last show?
I did. I also learned from the Marvel fight. I now know to keep an eye on the side eye. Yeah, it's intense. So I'm ready from all angles this time.
All right,
I think.
same. And now look who's back. It's the outlaw himself, Mr. John Roca.
Forever Savage, baby doll. Forever Savage. We gonna make it happen up here. I ain't wearing no Cub Scout outfit. I ain't wearing Shakespeare trying to intimidate anybody. The Outlaw's here. The fans voted for the Outlaw, and the Outlaw is here to take the belt eventually from Dan Murrell. Let's make it happen.
What I love about the Outlaw is the fans did vote you here, genuinely. So
nice
congratulations. But man, there are some people who are so mad you're here.
Yeah,
it's so
I know.
Lovely.
That's right.
You have that persona now. That's love or hate the Outlaw.
It's tough working.
It's hard. Either way, they love it or they hate it. Right?
Yeah, well,
there's not a lot of in betweens with you.
No, I don't like it that way.
Yeah,
I like to know where I stand
like
always. Yeah. That's why you run things, Andy.
I love it. But hey, I'm glad you're back. This is going to be a passionate show. I'm excited for it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for coming back. Let's do this. You know how this works. I don't need to explain this show to you. Let's get to it.
Hear the music.
What a lovely day!
Are you not entertained? Let them fight.
Oh, our fan montage. Harry Lee, good job, dude. I love it. Getting used to it. Round one. Now, all of these questions are fan submitted. Sometimes we don't get to sneak in as many as we want. This week we went all in, so in honor of the fans voting you in, we wanted to make sure we delivered what the fans asked for. And this one comes in from Brian Knight at Project Avant. He wants to know what is the worst movie of the Alien franchise. Wow. Mike Carlson, you're first.
All right.
Alien and Aliens are beloved movies. Everyone loves them. I don't want to use love too much, but that's how much we love these movies. Okay, they set up a character we love. They set up a universe that's amazing, a tone. There's an iconic, terrifying villain species of alien. And then the second movie, it builds on that, Aliens, and it makes it bigger. We're talking it's a military thing, and the action is bigger, and it's more exciting, and it creates these characters that we love, like Newt. And by the end of that, Ripley, the second movie, Ripley has overcome so much. Okay, she's a character that is just like the ultimate badass. All right, and how does Alien 3 build on all of that? It doesn't. It lets us down. It opens up by killing off all the characters we like off screen in a fire. And you're like, what? Those were what happened? Is it a cool? They didn't even do something cool. It's not even like an alien attacked the ship or anything. It's like they just die in a fire, and now she's sad. This is a dreary sequel. This just like deflates everything that's been built up. It is unmemorable. It is unexciting. Alien 3 is the worst of the Alien franchise.
All right, Coy.
The only thing worse than being unmemorable and unexciting is being disrespectful and shameful and just the worst thing. And man, Alien 4 is just... It not only doesn't do anything, what it does do is bad and aggressive. The movie not only sets us up to believe that we have a clone of Sigourney Weaver that shows her merits by playing basketball, she then moves forward with acid blood and is suddenly like a sex object. Sigourney Weaver was meant to be the heroine we always wanted, and they made 2 movies where she was perfect and everything she needed, and she actually said in this movie, and I quote, "Who do I need to fuck to get off this ship?" How did we end up with a movie written by Joss Whedon where a woman says something like that, who's the greatest heroine of all time? Alien 4 was worse than What Happens to a Toad That Gets Struck by Lightning. This movie had an alien human hype. I have to rebuttal after because there's too much. I can't even think of all the bad in Alien 4. It's that aggressively insulting.
Wow.
John Roca.
I hope you can, Coy. You're going to need it for the fight. Let me say something. Listen, let's get something real straight. Yeah, Alien 3, not great. Alien 4, not great. But when you bring back the original creator of the 1979 Alien, the one that got us all in love with, what Cub Scout was saying, the one that got us all into it, right? You bring him back and he shits the bed completely with something called Prometheus. So terrible. From the beginning, we get this weird kind of thing, this all albino white dude throwing stuff in the ocean, and we never even come back to it. We have the engineer shows up. What's the deal with the engineer? Oh, he was just a pilot. That's it. That was it. That's all you waited. You waited 30 years to hear that it was just a pilot. It was so ridiculous because the expectations were higher. When you have a new director, when you have a French director, you're not expecting much. But when you got the original guy coming back and all he does is fill it with crappy dialogue that Lindelof wrote, for God's sakes, we know him, present everything, give the mystery, don't give any answers, and then cast incredible actors like Idris Elba and Charlize Theron and Noomi Rapace and give them absolutely nothing to do and make them one. It was even more dreary than Alien 3 because all the scientists, all the people in the ship are incredibly moody and bitter and frustrated, even though they found exactly what they've been looking for 4 years. So it's an incredibly terrible movie, and it made Alien Covenant a slave to it by having to play with it, having to deal with the mythology that they brought up and tried to address, and really it just broke your heart that the guy who started in 1979 with Alien completely almost destroyed his franchise with Prometheus.
All right, guys, fight it out.
I feel like Alien 3 had enough merit in the fact that it tried something different, and I feel like the only movie that didn't really have tension in these films was mine because of the style. He made it almost slapstick. Nihilism, it has tension. There's a certain nest of David Fincher that was assembling. He was figuring out what he was doing, and I feel like Prometheus was enough of its own animal that it doesn't really become an Alien film until the third act, so it's really hard for me to judge it as an Alien film because it was like a 1979 director stepped away, and when he reemerged, he was older, in his opinion, wiser,
right.
And then he made a thing that was the vision he had that the studio wouldn't let him do before, whereas Alien 4 was trying to recover from the abortion that Alien 3 was, that killed everyone, and then Alien 4 had a clone, had all these things that were the subject of the 90s. Like, nothing feels more a piece of its time than the mess that was this. Ron Perlman is barely watchable in it. Like, there's a bunch of actors similar to yours that just can't do their part because the writing is so bad, and then the CGI it's overlit. It takes away all the things that Alien works. It distracts from the action because it's just a weak piece of the series.
All right, that's fair. But 3 is redeemable in its way because it's Fincher. It was his first time directing a feature. You see shades of what Fincher is going to do in films coming up afterwards. You see the stuff going on. They took a chance. They put it on penal colony. They made it smaller. They give Charles S. Dutton, Charles Dance, Grandpa Lannister's up in there rolling through there. So you got all this stuff going on, and you have the iconic shot of the alien right in Sigourney Weaver's face that everyone remembers. She shaved her head. She's got all this stuff going on, and you have the xenomorphs. And you just look at the extended, the deleted scenes. The xenomorphs even longer. It's even bigger. It's building upon the mythology of it, and the tension is actually, there are some great scenes in Alien 3 that have fantastic tension. Now, Alien 4, yes, some bad stuff, but it's a European version of an Alien film. So if you're a European film watcher, you get a lot of what Junot is trying to do, because if you've seen City of Lost Children, he's laying the groundwork for what he does with sci-fi. His version of sci-fi, it's more about the connection between the characters. It's more about the journey and the mission of what they're trying to go through, and they want to play with this idea of how Sigourney Weaver's character of Ripley is connected in a way that's almost primal with the alien xenomorph, the creature itself. Therefore, they tried that in Alien 3 when it burst out of her stomach and she fell all the way into the fire, but then in 4, they made her a clone and they made her have a child alien. So this whole thing is her life is so connected to the alien that every piece of her humanity is always connected to this xenomorph up until the end, to where she lets her own child die. And that's one of those memorable moments when you hear that sound of the child dying is amazing. Whereas Prometheus, you come in with more expectations and you're let down. It's coming. If you go over a bump, you feel your balls drop, you go over a bump, you go over a dip in the but when you fall off a cliff, that's what happened in Prometheus. You're falling off a cliff because you expected to go sky high, and that plane exploded in midair and crashed in the earth.
The only reason Alien 3 is even good is because of Fincher. I mean, this is notoriously a movie that had like tons of rewrites and tons of problems from the studio, and you can feel it because it's so like weird and uneven. And like, these are two movies though that are trying to do something different. My movie is trying to be the finish of a trilogy. This Alien 4, not a great movie, by the way, but is trying to do sort of more of a schlocky 90s monster movie. I mean, it is weird. I don't love it, but there's tons of more memorable stuff. I mean, Perlman is watchable. He's always watchable. Never say he's not watchable. I don't know why I turned into Trump there, but he's always watchable.
Best watchable person.
And Prometheus is a good movie. I love Prometheus. This is a movie about exploring and looking for God, and then when you find God, he goes, I have no answers for you. I will kill you. I love it. It's amazing. I think people misunderstand what this movie's all about. I love it.
I think that I agree. These are all 3 different types of films, and I think what he did was he came back as an old director, want to make an art house film. My film was slapstick, which is the opposite of what Alien represents. Alien 1 is about the horrors of darkness and not knowing what's happening. Alien 2 was escalation, like you said, in action. Alien 3 was nihilism. Alien 4 was what was Alien 4? It doesn't even have a tone, it doesn't even have a pace, it doesn't have a heartbeat. That movie just happens at you, and it insults the other 3 before it, and it doesn't really allow anything but Prometheus after it, because you had to have a hard reset, and Prometheus was better for it.
But Corey, you're saying you just called it an art house film, so you know what it is. You can't say you don't know what it is. You just said what it is. An art house film.
Yours was an art house
film.
film.
You just said 4 was an art house film.
I think
you said it was
was an art house
slapstick,
film.
and then you said it was
slapstick.
slapstick. But it's not. So then you know what it is. But it's not slapstick. There's no Three Stooges going on in Alien 4. There's none of that. Boop, boop, boop. There's none of that. That's slapstick.
There's a chest burster used in the back of the head as a punch-out joke. At one point, someone bursts out, "Since when are chest bursters comedic relief?" That's embarrassing. That's sacrilege.
A little bit of comedy with the tension. That happens in all the Alien
Sigourney
movies.
Weaver wasn't even in Prometheus, so the expectation wasn't for an Alien film where they would have called it Alien: Prometheus like they did Alien: Covenant. What the Covenant had to do was repair the damage from 4. Prometheus had already set and fixed. I think Prometheus is a decent film.
No, it was recovering the damage from Prometheus. So, I mean, so much so that they introduce another version of David, which is Michael, and all that goes on in Alien Covenant is trying to recover. I mean, he made a movie to apologize for Prometheus. That tells you how bad it is. No one made a movie to apologize for 3 or 4.
They waited 15 years because they were ashamed.
Why did you apologize? Well, that was right. Well, it's because they went too far with, this is more, the stakes are higher. The expectations are higher. Your stepdad's going to abuse you, but when your dad abuses you, it really hurts. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's how it works. When your stepdad abuses, it hurts, but when your real father abuses you, there's more levels to it. And you can't say these two films.
Times.
Yeah, that's fair. You can't say these 2 films are different. And this is a completely different film itself. It's on a penal colony. They've never done that before. They talk about lice.
I will watch Alien.
These are 2 movies that are the start of new franchises, though. I mean, Ripley is not the same character in 4. This was supposed to be another series of movies, and as Prometheus is. So these are different movies starting a new franchise. The third one is trying to wrap the whole thing up and just fails spectacularly. Like, imagine Return of the Jedi, and it starts with Leia being like, "Oh, Han died in the carbonite," and you'd be like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, Han is just dead.
Imagine if JJ came back and was like, "Oh, we cloned everyone, and then they're gonna have alien babies." It's the same thing. You can't just come back from 15 years and be like, "Oh, look, by the way, Chewbacca is actually the son of Han Solo." Like, it doesn't work in any way to have this writing.
It's weird. I agree.
Okay, but now having the original director come back and have all these incredible plot holes. Like, FIFA, he gets lost when he can't. He has the map on his arm and he gets lost. How the hell does that happen? How do you let that go as your director? Why
Maps
did David?
are not always accurate.
Why did David spike Holloway's drink if David didn't have emotions? What's that all about? Why did they pretend that Waylon was dead the whole time and then he shows up and we see that whole thing with Charlize Theron coming like an hour before it actually happens? There's so many plot holes and missteps. You get Idris Elba's terrible French accent, whatever the hell he was trying to do. You get and then when the ship is falling on top of Rapace and Theron, you know what they do instead of running? In another direction, any other direction, they run straight backwards in a straight line so the thing can roll them over. It's akin to what you saw in Austin Powers when Michael McDonald was 40 feet away from the bulldozer going, "No!" and it's slowly coming to. It's so ridiculous that the man who did Alien and Blade Runner could create a film this incredibly terrible with so many plot holes. I mean, how did Shaw not feel immense amount of excruciating pain as she's jumping around the whole ship after she's had a C-section with that thing that came out of her, which apparently mated with the engineer and then created a proto-xenomorph that they already had paintings on the wall. They hadn't even created the proto-xenomorph.
I had a friend who had his appendix out, and he was at a party the next night. Okay, so that's in the future.
An appendix is an abortion? Is that what you're trying to say? It's the same thing?
Is very strong.
No, I was not. I'm just saying that we don't know exactly where the xenomorph is. Is it living in actually the uterine walls? We don't know exactly where that is. It could be gestating anywhere in the body. They didn't explain.
It's in the stomach. It comes out.
It's in the stomach somewhere. I agree.
I want to go through final thoughts and just tell me again why yours is the worst movie in the franchise over the other two. Back to you, Mike.
Okay. As I've stated before, this thing just bungles it. This like drops the ball at the touchdown line. The only memorable thing in the whole thing is that shot with Sigourney Weaver's shaved head with the alien. That's the only thing I remembered about it. I had to rewatch it. I was so bored. I rewatched 4 and I said, "Oh, this is a piece of crap too." But there are a lot of fun, weird, stupid things in this. It's a schlocky B movie and much more memorable, which makes it better. Prometheus, sure, there's some threads they don't pick up by the end of the movie, but this is a movie that's not trying to be Alien. It's trying to be its own different thing, and I liked it. I liked the themes it explored, and I thought it did a great job of doing that.
Coy.
I think mine is the weakest because when I think of Alien 3, I think of Charles S. Dutton. I think of that iconic scene. I think of a lot of David Fincher shaping who he is as a director, and I think he's the best director working. And it started with Alien 3, one of the best directors.
Yeah.
And then I think that Prometheus intentionally stepped away and had to rebrand itself and knew what it was. And knowing what you are as a film is what a movie should do. I feel like of these three, the only one that doesn't know what it is my film. The movie has slapstick elements. It has attempts at horror. It has attempts at tension building. The movie never defines itself. And then it not only does that, it insults the character we've loved for 3 movies. The 3 couldn't have worked without Sigourney Weaver. Mine makes Sigourney Weaver a punchline and then has her say punchlines and then makes the aliens a punchline, and it actually is disrespectful. I'd have something be better to be not memorable, like you're claiming 3 is, than be memorably bad and insulting. And Alien 4 hurts to think about.
Okay. So Prometheus for me, like Alien 3, I think is a good film. I watch it, I own it, I have that film. That's a good film. A lot of good tense-filled scenes, fantastic work by those character actors. So to me, I think that film is absolutely redeemable. I think 4 has some great stuff. If you're a fan of art house French films, you understand what Jeannot is trying to do with this franchise. Once again, see City of Lost Eternity. With Prometheus, the problem is that really comes back to it. Like you said, Coy, he comes back to as an old director. He tries to do something, tries to restart this mythology, this franchise, and he fails miserably. None of you have talked about the plot holes in your films. I just mentioned 4 of them. There are massive plot holes in Prometheus that take away from the overall effect of what you're trying to accomplish. And it has done one thing. By releasing that film and Ridley Scott putting a stamp on it, it has now infected the entire franchise going forward, because they have to deal with all the stuff which you saw in Alien Covenant, and you see at the end of Alien Covenant, they're going to deal with it again in the next film. So all these terrible mythology, all these things that they introduced in Prometheus are just going to poison the the rest of the trilogy that they're creating, much so that they will constantly be exponentially more disappointing and terrible as we go forward, and it's because Prometheus is so horrible all around.
All right, I don't have my bell. We can get my bell behind me, but ding! Dan, what do you think?
Just a couple of fact checks. The new version of David is Walter. And
Walter,
Alien
I'm sorry,
Covenant,
not Michael.
Michael. There's a lot of folks wondering if Alien versus Predator was eligible for this contest. That was a lot of them would have. Yeah,
I
it
forgot
was
about
eligible,
it.
but a lot of people.
There's two of them.
That would have been a great
too.
pick.
Yeah.
We should have picked those.
Damn it! A lot of people.
We really
wondering
screwed
why
up.
those
We
weren't
all were
picked.
stupid.
Roca, I think you said that the thug in Austin Powers was hit by a bulldozer. It was a steamroller.
Steamroller, sorry.
And I found a quote from Joss Whedon regarding Alien 4 for people that were surprised. He was interviewed a while after. He said, "It was mostly a matter of doing everything wrong. They said the lines mostly, but they said them wrong, and they cast it wrong, and they designed it wrong, and they scored it wrong. They did everything wrong that they could possibly do." So Joss Whedon, not a fan of Alien 4, but did say he was a fan of Alien versus Predator. So
Okay.
there you go.
We'll see how far that goes.
That's why we didn't choose it.
That's right.
We knew.
Exactly. As far as everything else goes, pretty clean round.
So clean.
I can't ask Dan for advice on this because that would be a little bit shady for this show
I don't
itself.
want it, don't want the appearance
Don't
of
want
impropriety.
entertaining. So all right. So based on these arguments, this is legitimately tough because they all three of them have definitely have things going against them. The thing I keep hearing about 3 as well. Oh well, it's good because it sets up Fincher, but I don't know if I believe that. The defense on 4, it's a schlocky B movie. And then Prometheus shits the bed because Ridley Scott took over, and Alien 3. But I feel like I heard more. I didn't hear more negative things against 3. So I think 3 is safe. 3 had the most positive things, and then therefore they did sort of get you because it is while you're watching Fincher. It is there. You do remember that scene, and there is tension in that film. So I got to cut Mike out. So Mike's out. It's between Coy and John, and then it became Prometheus versus Resurrection in your arguments. It's tough because Prometheus does have some big. But I'm trying to go through my notes. The Alien 4 is schlocky, and you're. You really hung me out. I forgot she had that line. Who do I have to F to get in this to get off this ship? That was really aggressive. Prometheus is filled with plot holes, but it's still a kind of a beautiful film, which Coy mentioned. Man, this one's rough. I gotta give. I just have more points from John that he made, so I'm gonna give John the first point.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
I don't agree with it, but based on personally, based on those arguments, it was a strong fight. And I heard some more attacks against them. Sorry, I was trying to process that in my head. Everyone's gonna say I'm an idiot and don't know how to judge, but no, that made sense to me in going through it. John gave me the most attacks against the other 2 films, and I feel like they did sort of get Alien 3 on its iconic imagery, and 4 is kind of a schlocky, silly, fun movie, weird movie. Prometheus really did come back with expectations that did not deliver, according to these arguments, and I would agree personally. All right, here we go. Round 2. Dan, what did the fans say?
Well, the fan poll has a clear winner. 55% chose Alien 4 as the worst Alien movie. 26% voted for Prometheus. 19% Alien 3.
All right.
Uphill battle for me.
People love Fincher, man.
Alien versus Predator probably would have won.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one choice.
All right,
guys.
here we go. Number 2. This one comes from Garrett McDowell at Garrett McDowell1 on Twitter. He wants you guys to pitch a Venom movie, the solo film for Venom. What do we want to see? Coy, you're up first.
So my film opens with Tom Hardy working out and stressed and drained, and there's just years of anguish in this man. He's a beast of a human, but he is broken. Behind him are walls covered in newspaper reports, accolades. This man is a star reporter. What's wrong with him? We then follow him through New York, and he goes to the church. Now, any Spider-Man fan knows how important this church is. He goes to the church, and he is going to kill himself. This is how this man ends, and we don't know why. Right before he does, he pulls out a newspaper, and we see Sin Eater. We see all of these classic Easter eggs from the comics. We see backstory told through newspaper, fittingly the Daily Bugle, which gives us more, and we find out that Eddie Brock is a disgraced reporter because of Spider-Man and because of Peter Parker, and we find out that he's been disgraced through lying about this report. He's about to kill himself when the Venom symbiote drips down, and then he's overcome with emotions and feelings and sights from space, and he's suddenly invaded. And then this movie goes full psychological thriller, and we discover what it means to be a man, what it means to lose everything, what it means to be an alien, how to feel like an outsider, and that's the whole second act, is discovery and emotions and feelings and no dance numbers. And then the third act is the evolution of him taking control and redemption, and the redemption of the first act, basically him finding himself again and him shaping into the Lethal Protector. And the beautiful thing about Venom is he always thinks he's right. Venom always does a choice that he believes is right. So in killing people, he kills bad people, but he's doing it for justice. So we have that Punisher flavor where you love this guy, and it's Tom Hardy. So he's charming and he's dark and he's doing these horrible things, but you've had 2 acts of growing to love him. So when he kills people, you're like, I agree with this, and it becomes a horror movie for the audience. You as the audience feel horrible about the actions this person is taking that you've fallen for, that you believe in, because of the perfect casting. And the beautiful thing about setting it up with the church at the beginning is Spider-Man's not in this film. That's what they've said many times. We have Spider-Man in pictures, we have Spider-Man in newspapers, we have the shroud of Spider-Man that keeps us in the universe, but then in Spider-Man like 5 or 6, whenever Tom Holland catches up to the right age, it can end at the church. And we can retroactively have this be the Spider-Man Black Comic Saga, because movies don't have time frames, movies don't have chronology that needs to be that way. This is a movie set after Spider-Man. Tom Holland is old enough to play the right Black Spider-Man, and we can earn Venom being part of the Spider-Verse retroactively, and it's how you do Venom.
John.
Wow, that's good. You leave out Secret Wars.
I have to.
Yeah, you have to, right? Okay, to me, I go totally sci-fi. I say you make Eddie an astronaut, and you play it like classic, old-school 1979 Alien, which we just talked about here in our previous fight with Ridley Scott. You make it so that the symbiotic is hunting them. They don't know what it is, right? They don't know where it's going. They don't know what it does. It imitates each other. You got a little The Thing vibe going on there from 1982 or 81. Scott Mance will kill me. And at the end, Eddie chooses between saving the others on the ship, like his best friend or a love interest, or saving himself by bonding with the symbiote. That's the twist. Through the whole thing, Eddie's leading them, getting them out, doing whatever he needs to do to survive. He even slowly becomes the leader because he's not initially the captain. Eddie Brock is kind of a lunkhead at times, kind of a meathead, as we've seen in the comics at times. So you can play that way. So he slowly becomes like the leader of this thing. And at the end, it's between him and his love interest. And at the end, he chooses to bond with the symbiote. And we see that, we don't see the twist coming. And when he does, we're like, what? And when he chooses that, he becomes the villain that we need to set up for him for the sequel when Spider-Man shows up.
Mike Carlson.
Okay. If I'm Sony, I want to differentiate these movies from the Spider-Man movies, so I want to make them very different. And I'm going to take my inspiration from a comic book series called Venom, which was by Rick Remender a few years ago. Venom is not Eddie Brock. He's Flash Thompson, and he's a war hero. He lost his legs in combat. And the U.S. military enlists him to take part in a special program because they have the symbiote. So they essentially have figured out a way to fuse a guy with the symbiote for an hour. And he becomes Venom. He has all the crazy cool Venom powers. But he cannot stay in the symbiote for more than an hour or it will overtake him. So now Venom becomes an agent of the U.S. government and he goes on missions. So now you take him out of New York. Because look, we have 6 movies of people swinging around New York. We don't need to see that right now. Sony wants something probably too that will set up so they have a hero, somebody that's probably the linchpin of their universe, because it's bizarre they're doing all these Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man and they're just gonna do all these characters. So you want at least a new hero. Flash Thompson is a military hero. He's a good guy. Obviously he's gonna have darkness and he's gonna have struggle because of what he's been through in the symbiote, but this is gonna allow him to go to places like in the first movie, whatever, we can't call it the Savage Land, I think, because Sony probably doesn't have Savage Land, but let's call it like the Jungle Land. Okay, he goes after,
Steve Miller, nice.
Jungle Land, Bruce Springsteen, Jungle Land, any of old 70s rock songs we can go to, and he can go after a villain like Kraven the Hunter, and then he can go on a mission, and now he sort of becomes the new Spider-Man. But you take him all these different locales, and it's a very exciting thing, and it opens up a franchise. It's not just one interesting movie. Now you can actually take Venom on all these different adventures, and it opens up the possibilities.
All right, fight it out.
I feel like all of these are franchises.
Yeah.
I feel like all of these set up the universe that Sony needs.
Yes.
But the two problems I have here are the movie with yours doesn't have there's not enough characters for us to have all the Easter eggs that comic fans want. It doesn't have a story that's a narrative from the comics. Like the space thing was Jonah Jameson's son, so everyone's gonna be like, oh, why is Jonah Jameson's son in space? Oh wait, it's not. And Eddie Brock's an astronaut, but he's a dumb lunkhead. Flash Thompson's already in the next Spider-Man movie, and he's been a movie fighter. Like, so we can't have a character introduced again because he's in the film. He goes to high school with Peter. So if you're trying to make a shared universe, you can't have a high school student and then suddenly he's Tom Hardy. It doesn't work.
We can just call him Eddie Brock.
So the problem would be, comic fans will love when Eddie Brock suddenly Flash Thompson.
They don't care. They won't care.
The problem is, those things are already intrinsically a problem going forward with the universe because of how much people love Venom. Now, my film, as an arc, is the Venom story. It's the Todd McFarlane flavor. And at the end of mine, you have a fully formed Venom with a full arc, and he's accepted he's the lethal protector. You have him fighting. You have him go to jail. You have the redemption saga. And then at the end, the post-credit scene is already set up. He gets out of jail, and there's that piece of Venom left, and up Carnage second movie. It's a franchise. It's ready.
Venom is it's like a schlocky 90s character, and like I want to see
Good
him
sir.
do fun stuff. He is.
How dare you?
He is. I love him, but he's 90. He's 9. I mean, he's not as bad as Carnage is. That's the ultimate. I mean, he's not like Cable. I'm just
I
saying.
didn't like your villains there. I'm confused.
I mean, he's
symbiote.
Venom.
You a big Shriek fan? Are you?
I like Shriek, okay?
Like Shocker?
I do love Shocker. I don't know why I love Shocker, but I do. I'm just saying, this is psychological. This ends with like he almost going to kill himself. This is depressing. This is going to depress a lot of people in the theater. Like, I think you want something that's
Logan
actually a
didn't do
lot
well.
more fun.
I mean, Logan was really a rough sell, right?
Logan.
Come on,
I don't love
so
Logan,
many
though.
needs their Logan.
I don't love
Yeah,
Logan either.
I wouldn't say Logan either because that was built up from other movies. So you had that going forward.
But it was dark.
Right, it was. But what you're setting up here is you're playing for a franchise, right? You're trying, but you've still got to focus on making it an insular movie, just in case. So you've got to be able to walk that line because the last thing fans want is like, oh crap, I'm at the end of the film, you didn't answer any questions.
Spider-Man 2.
Right, Spider-Man 2. So you don't want that going forward. So with your guy, with Flash Thompson, a lot of people remember Flash Thompson being a jerk to Peter Parker. So are you going to play? You say you want to start him off as a hero, but what kind of hero are you going to create if he's such a jerk to Peter Parker? Is what we've seen. That's what we remember from the series. That most of the time he's a jerk to Peter. Right? He's a competition for Mary Jane, all that kind of stuff, right? And the guy, if you want to go with the guy with the warrior, that's Joe Jonah Jameson's son. That's where you want to go. So with Flash Thompson, you're messing up with the mythology when you're doing that. We saw that already. BBS really doesn't work when you try to cram 3 graphic novels into one damn movie.
Well, that's
and
true.
not have any through lines.
We can my character honestly change his name. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's like we're not mythology.
Let's call Spider-Man Ben Reilly, see how it shakes out.
Well, that would be weird. I agree. But we just need a guy who lost his legs who's a war hero. Honestly,
Captain Dan. You're talking Captain Dan from Forrest Gump.
Yeah, fine. Lieutenant Dan, sure.
Forrest Gump 2 goes to Clinton.
I'm just saying that they sub people's names out and they make them sort of good and sort of bad and they change things all the time. As far as the Alien movie in space, it does sound like Alien. That movie sounds like Alien, or that movie that everyone thought was a Venom origin movie that came out last month.
Yeah, it sounds like Life as well.
It sounds exactly like
so
Life.
hoping,
And like,
man.
I'm not saying that's not going to be good. It's just like we've seen this a lot. And also, if it's called Venom, like we know he's going to be Venom by the end of the movie. Like that's sort of the whole surprise. It's like, oh my God, he's Venom. So by the like everyone's going to be not as surprised. So I'm looking for something where, like, visually you're going to see things you've never seen before. You've never seen Venom ride a dinosaur in a Savage Land situation. You've never seen him go up against Kazar or Kraven the Hunter. Or you want to do something different with these because we've seen everything. We've seen so many of these type of movies before. I want to see visuals. I want to see settings. I want to see adventures that I've never seen.
That's fair, but I want to defend my movie a little bit here. Sure. I think he's a space creature. None of you have talked about how he's going to come to existence. Like, and my movie addresses that. My movie, the symbiote, is an alien thing they go into some kind of, maybe it could be a solar flare, it could be an asteroid, it could be investigating something on a planet. Thing goes inside, then we start the process. Because that's how it happened with Peter Parker in Secret Wars. It bonded to himself in Secret Wars on that planet, gave him all this powerful stuff. And so what it does with Eddie is he will occasionally, like the thing is bonding to him slowly, and then he, it fights it off or whatever. But as he gets more and more connected to it, he starts to feel smarter, stronger, faster, more virile. All these things that he wasn't before. And it progresses to the point where you can start to feel something for him. And it becomes an anti-hero for what he does. And maybe the love interest lives and becomes Carnage. Maybe his best friend lives that he chooses and becomes Carnage. So you set that all up for the franchise already when they crash land back on Earth. Who knows what happens from there? So to me, that's why I think this works better, because it addresses the fact that it is a space alien, a symbiote that because all you all saying he just shows up, and mine is it makes logical sense that he would show up when he shows up.
All right, using that as your final thoughts. Go ahead, Coy.
Mine has an origin because he gets set up in the movie that they frame it around, so you can have the actual authentic origin with Spider-Man. The way Marvel's going is cosmic. If Sony lets Sony lets him borrow Spider-Man again, that's where they're going. He's going to space in Avengers 4. This can all happen the right way, my way. By having a mystery in the opening of the film, not only is that more interesting, but you also allow for the proper space introduction without muddling the film. People that know Venom's origin will be excited. People that don't know Venom's origin will be excited. It works in every way, and the entire second act of my film allows for that growing of virile and all those feelings. And mine is a movie that's unlike any superhero movie because we've not dealt with the drug abuse feeling of a film. Like, this is literally like he's got a psychological attachment to this thing, like a bad relationship and drug abuse. This is like everything we want in the pathos of a character by Tom Hardy, a man that can play it. You look at Bronson, you look at The Take, you look at how this man commands a performance, and then you add that to the fact that we have a character that literally could be one note if handled incorrectly. We have military movies, we have those things. I don't need to see Venom riding a dinosaur. He's Venom. I want a movie where I know what I care about the character. If I'm gonna have a shared universe starting with this character, I need to care about him psychologically, and this allows for that aspect of Venom that is so underwritten in the comics and can be played with Tom Hardy well.
Mike.
I think we all want to see Venom riding a dinosaur. I just want to be very clear about that. But second of all, look, I'm talking about all the fun stuff and the neat things. I think with my movie too, though, that is a real, if we're trying to get psychological, yeah, you're going to get psychological of a guy who can't walk, a guy who served his country, a guy who was lost, who sacrificed everything. And now he has another chance to walk. And now not just walk, like goo walk, like with his gooey legs and stuff. Like this is like, you can delve into the actual psychological aspects of Venom because that is part of it. But in addition to that, in my movie, you are getting a scenario where he can go anywhere, do anything. He can go into space. He can go into different settings. I think that this thing is exciting and it can take it anywhere, whereas I think these other two are limiting.
Dan, anything to add up?
Just a couple of.
Is Venom from the 80s? Venom was
Venom
made
made his first appearance in
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man number 300 in May 1988.
Yeah.
Roca, you mentioned Blade Runner, so I will correct you as Scott Mantz as this question. John? The Thing was released on June 25th, 1982, the same day as the greatest film ever made, Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. Same weekend!
That's good.
I was in Philadelphia. I saw it with Tony Nabanuzzi.
I saw it at 2 o'clock at the theater on 3rd and Vermont.
I was listening to the Beatles, I remember.
We love you, Scott Mantz. He'll be back in a couple weeks. So.
That's good.
Anything else?
No, that's it. Factually, I can't really correct their pitches.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Can you do the rest of the show as
Yeah,
Mantz?
Scott Mantz.
All right, based on, I'm still hung up on how great that movie Life would have been if it was Venom at the end.
That would have been cool.
And that was Fox,
There's
right?
the universe.
Yep.
That's it.
That's
That's
why they
Fox. That's
were.
why they couldn't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
It
man.
was Sony. It was Sony. That's why.
It would have worked.
That would have
Yeah.
been an
Yeah.
amazing, like, sort of Cloverfield-esque thing.
Yeah.
Like,
It was a great
wait,
ending.
What? And then Jake Gyllenhaal pulled
Yeah.
out as Venom.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that would
Little
have been
flip
killer.
Jake Gyllenhaal was almost Spider-Man with the Sam Raimi films. It was
Yeah.
So anyway, that sounds, but that's not what you pitched. So I didn't like yours because I just saw it in Life.
That's fair.
So it came down between Coy and Mike. I just. While I agree, you can just change the name. You sort of got stuck in that problem. So I think Coy's was a little bit more presentable. So I got to give Coy that point. It was they were both good pitches.
I watched all three. It was a great pitch.
Yes,
It was a great pitch.
Dinosaur.
All right, round. What did the poll say?
The poll was it's tough to summarize these pitches in a
Yeah.
poll, but
We should have them do titles.
42% voted for Venom, aka Punisher, and 39% voted for Symbiote Covenant.
Which that was John's.
Yeah.
I think.
What was the third one?
The third one was Flash, Savage Land, Venom. It says 19%.
Sure, okay.
I like Venom Punisher.
Venom Punisher.
Netflix's Venom
Sounds
Punisher.
like they're
team.
together.
I don't envy having to
Sum that
condense
up. We
these
should have
things into
given-
a tweet.
that was
Yes.
Good try. Yeah. Should have probably had titles. All
Yes.
right.
We screwed up.
Round 3. This one comes in from Cartoon Palooza. Joey T. Cartoon Peak asks, improve any movie by adding Captain Jack Sparrow.
Here we go.
The fifth Pirates movie came out, or it's coming out this weekend. It came out. Did it come out?
Yeah, it's coming out Memorial Day
I'm
weekend.
Sure.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you can.
I will not judge. I haven't seen it, but I feel like I've seen it already somehow.
I've seen it, and I'll tell you right now, it's out, and you could go see it.
I mean, you could also see Baywatch, I guess.
No.
You could. No.
Yeah.
God, no.
Right? That was so disappointing.
So bad. And I went to the premiere in Miami, and I had to like write a review and like with tears because I love
you were
Dwayne
there.
Johnson.
Me too. It was not his fault. He tried really
No,
hard.
he did. He's good in the
great.
movie.
The cast was fine. It
cast
was
was fine.
so badly directed and written.
It didn't know what it wanted to be.
Stuff
anyway.
just happened.
Yeah.
It was not it was a bummer.
But we digress.
I wanted to just go and have dumb fun. And
Baywatch fights.
Baywatch fights. Anyway, we're not talking about Baywatch or pirates, but we are talking about one pirate in particular. I'd like you to improve the movie by adding Captain Jack Sparrow. John Roca, you're first.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you what the answer is, and we shouldn't even fight it. Just give me the point, because it is the 1992 masterpiece starring Martin Short, Mary Kay Place, and an older Kurt Russell, Captain Ron.
All right, John gets the point.
Thank you.
No, I'm kidding.
No. This amazing. If you,
I do know this movie.
Yes.
Sure.
So, what's so great about this? What's so great about having Jack Sparrow take the place of? Basically, would take the place of Kurt Russell.
Awkwardly,
right?
they made her wear a bikini and like photoshopped her to fit in that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like Ken's
So not physically
Was it Photoshop
popular.
in '92?
What is happening? We need a bikini girl in this
Right.
poster.
What is happening with Martin Short's head?
Martin Short, look at that. Anyway, because that poster without Johnny Depp is
Yeah.
the real Captain Ron poster.
It looks like the Spider-Man Homecoming poster.
Anyway, we'll get there in a minute. Anyway,
No, but anyway, like what to me, if you replace Kurt Russell with Johnny Depp, then you have this whole idea.
you're replacing. You're not just they're not together.
Oh, so you're adding.
Okay,
so
improve the movie by adding.
fine.
You could replace.
Okay, so what they do? No, I'm fine with adding. What they do is Kurt Russell stumbles into that island where the gorillas are, and there is Captain Jack Sparrow. Why? Because they want to traverse the Caribbean. That is what they say in the movie. They even say Pirates of the Caribbean a couple of times in the movie. Martin Short does. So we know what they're doing. They're going to get this yacht from his dead uncle to turn it into money. It's Clark Gable and Carol Lombard's yacht, so they know it's going to make money. If there's anything Jack Sparrow knows, it's how to find treasure and how to make that treasure pay for him. Plus, he likes to ogle the young girls, so the daughter is there for that. The shots of him, Kurt Russell using that video camera very inappropriately in 1992 to take shots of Martin Short's daughter's butt. I don't understand what's going on there, but Jack Sparrow could be there. Hey, don't do that. That's not really cool. You do
As
something
he
like that.
zooms in on the butt?
He
Right.
zooms in on the butt. Right? He's like, he tells him exactly how to do it, and that's the thing. The movie doesn't quite hit all the funny marks. It's not as good as you would like it to be with someone like Martin Short and Kurt Russell in the movie. So what you need someone to bump it up. You need someone to bring the comedy, bring the humor, bring the action, bring the fun. And I think with Jack Sparrow, he'd be incredible at bringing the fun and making it so much more enjoyable of a film to watch. Plus, he's a seafarer already. So where Kurt Russell is limited in his ability to train them, he actually would train them in a way that's more playful and fun and exciting. And you could bump up the score, the stuff out in the ocean, the stuff with the gorillas. You could see Hans Zimmer scoring that in such an incredible way. So already the film is 1,000% better by adding Jack Sparrow, because there's so many more options that are open to you, so many more playful adventures that you can have, so much more. You could even make the film 2.5 hours long, which shouldn't happen for a comedy, but you could do that with someone like Jack Sparrow, because that's certainly the pace that they go to with all these Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
All right. Captain Ron of the Caribbean, Mike Carlson.
I'm trying to write all these notes down
Yeah.
for this rebuttal. It's too many. All right, here we go. I picked Disney's Lone Ranger.
What?
All right. Yes. Disney's Lone Ranger.
What?
First of all, how would you not want that? Look at this.
Oh, I don't even have to write
It's
notes for
perfect.
the rebuttal.
It's perfect. Andy, bring the bell. I get the point. All right.
Two depths, too many.
All right, here, look, Lone Ranger, two people kind of like this movie, me and film director Quentin Tarantino. That's just, he's a genius, I'm a little bit of a genius, that's whatever. But,
I also loved The Internship with Robert De Niro, which was actually surprisingly
solid,
adorable.
yeah, it is adorable.
Not a bad film.
Great film.
Great
Intern,
film. We
yeah.
all agree it's a great film.
Intern, right. Sorry, go ahead.
Look, Lone Ranger is like 2.5 hours. It's on its own, a little long, but some good action sequences, some interesting stuff. I would argue the first Pirates of the Caribbean, you take Captain Jack out, it's okay. It's got some decent action, but it's not as special. Captain Jack is the big part of it.
Yeah.
Now, if you take a Johnny Depp performance like Captain Jack that is beloved, and you put it in a 2.5 hour movie that's a little long but has some good action sequences, we're talking dynamite, baby. This thing is going to soar, all right? Now, he could probably also just get rid of Tonto in the first couple minutes, too, and just join the Lone Ranger side. And then we won't have to have the problem of Johnny Depp playing a Native American guy. And I think that's actually an improvement as well. So I think that he's absolutely going to improve this movie 10 times, 100 times in fact.
Oh, wow, 100. I didn't hear that from John. 100 times.
No, 100 times.
Coy.
I'm gonna go ahead and improve a movie 1,000 times.
That's the Trump argument.
That's
1,000 times
I
better.
got
Unbelievable.
101. Now, a movie that needs improvement, that could have been really special, that thought it was really special, that had a budget that was really special, is Waterworld. Now, this is a movie wherein Kevin Costner, I mean, if that isn't a poster, I don't know what is. Now, Kevin Costner thought he was making Mad Max. He really did, and he tried so hard. But imagine if in sailing and peeing off boats and drinking it and all of the madness that happens in this film, he stumbles into an actually interesting character, Jack Sparrow. Now, Jack Sparrow is a supporting character. He is best when he's a supporting character. The biggest foible that franchise made was making him the lead. I bring it back to him being a supporting character. There's many, but that's a big one. Making him a supporting character with Kevin Costner dealing with the fact that not only is he trying to solve the world's problems and be a curmudgeonly old man, he's now got to deal with a drunken pirate. Johnny Depp could add the humor back into the franchise. He could add some lightness to a movie that was just droll for no reason. Kevin Costner thought he was making Mad Max, and he wasn't. If there was a lighthearted flavor with a Pirate of the Caribbean while they go look for dirt together, imagine Captain Jack talking about looking for dirt as a positive thing, how much fun that would be. Disney could have had a big hit with Pirates of the Waterworld.
Pirates of the Waterworld, Lone Ranger Jack Sparrow, and Captain Ron of the Caribbean. Here we go. Fight it out.
All right, you can't do Pirates of the Waterworld because you're combining two different movie park franchises that would never work. They would never allow you to do that to start off with. That's just number one right there because it's Universal versus Disney. That's not good. There's no way they're going to...
Spider-Man, Marvel, Sony.
Trust me, I work for Universal Studios. No effing way. They'll
so
do a
friendly.
handshake.
Well,
Yeah, right, exactly.
Roger Rabbit in the 90s.
Spider-Man to now.
Yeah, well, there we go. And with what you got going on here, the thing is, there's no treasure for him. For this the movie, exactly. That's not enough for to make it exciting for Sparrow. So he's almost wasted in a movie like this. Doesn't necessarily make it better because he's not improving the plot in any way. The problem with Waterworld is the plot. It's the plot itself. It's not the acting. It's not even the dialogue. Sometimes it's mostly the plot. It seems useless and wasted. And there's all comedic sequences won't cover up as bad as the plot is already in that movie. And what you've got here with so your solution to Lone Ranger is to eliminate the Native American character. That's the whole point is to have Native American representation in the movie. So your job is let's whitewash him and then let's eliminate him. That doesn't make any effing sense. And then slide in Johnny Depp as if he's going to replace Johnny Depp. Like, that just makes no sense. And you piss off the audience even more. You piss off the minority people even more. You piss off the audience even more by doing something like that because you don't get rid of the boring part of it, which is Armie Hammer in that movie, and that's the one you should replace. It isn't replacing Tonto with Sparrow.
And it's based on a show. Like, that's so sacrilegious to have like a beloved character then be two Johnny Depps for a little bit, like a first act, and then suddenly one goes. We had 8 Johnny Depps in Pirates 3. It didn't work out so well.
Right.
So we don't need to add another pirate situation. I think the thing that Johnny would be searching for with the dirt would be the fact that he assumes there's more there. And if we're in a world where there is nothing, the thing that is worth more than rum is dirt.
Right.
So like the humor for me is the fact that Johnny Depp would be not seeking out these crazy things, is that he's looking for dirt because that's the most valuable thing. The plot of Waterworld, I agree, was the problem because it did have beautiful production design. It had a great cast assembled. But when you add the humor of someone looking for dirt and make that a comedy punchline, it changes the tone of the film in a good way.
Does the logline Captain Jack Sparrow goes looking for dirt sound good to anyone?
No.
Because it doesn't
Does
sound good to me.
Pirates 5 sound good to anyone? I mean,
Well, that's not what we're debating. But yeah,
Neither does Lone Ranger with
Captain
Jack Sparrow, Lone Ranger
with
and
Captain Jack Sparrow.
That makes
sense. It's in the same Disney. It makes sense.
There's
it's in the
absolutely
same
no one who
Disney
wants to see that.
universe.
It's
First
got a
of all,
train?
I want to just talk about the Captain Ron pitch real quick. We're talking about the word masterpiece was thrown around. The word 2.5 hours long was thrown around.
So was yours.
Yeah, but that's already 2.5 hours. Making Captain Ron an extra hour long is insane. And first of all, Captain Ron is already like a less good Jack Sparrow. It's like you got 2 Jack Sparrows, and also
No, you have a better Jack Sparrow.
a big part of your pitch was that they were going to both be pervy towards young girls. That was a big part of the movie. That doesn't sound good.
Did you not see the Pirates of the Caribbean? See how pervy he was towards Keira Knightley, who was literally 20 years his junior whenever the movie. So what's the difference?
But Captain Ron's daughter is much younger than Keira Knightley.
No, she's 19. She's getting married in the movie. Have you seen this movie? You can't
20
argue the
years
movie
ago.
if you haven't seen it, Cub Scout. Come on now.
This is movie fights. I've argued plenty of movies I've never seen.
Night Falls. Night Falls.
Both of these movies have 2 Jack Sparrows. Why is that? How does that benefit the world? Mine is the only one that doesn't have another character that's similar because there's nothing more different than Kevin Costner and Jack Sparrow. That's the fun of it.
Yeah, but both of you are trying to shove comedies into dramas. That makes no sense. We just talked about Baywatch before we even started this fight. That's the problem with Baywatch. Comedy slamming into a drama. And what?
Lone Ranger's like an action adventure.
But
it's not a
also,
drama.
right, so that's when his brother gets killed. That's not a drama. In the most vicious,
Well, it's
violent.
dramatic.
He eats
It's
his
dramatic.
fucking heart.
It's
dramatic. It's dramatic. It is dramatic.
And it's already
What
Gore
did I say?
Verbinski. What do we do with more Gore
Gore
Verbinski
Verbinski,
pirates?
right, exactly.
Like, we don't need more
But you're-
Verbinski.
Verbinski needs Jack Sparrow, is
No,
what
no,
I'm saying.
The thing is, Captain Ron's already a comedy. So it's about improving the film. You improve the film by making the film funnier. You don't necessarily make it longer. There was a joke about that. But you could make the film funnier. You make the film better. You have a good cast already. Martin Short. The problem with Captain Ron was Martin Short was cast as a serious guy. Now with Johnny Depp, he has a chance to be more playful with someone because Kurt Russell's not necessarily a comedian naturally. Johnny Depp plays this very funny, always as Captain Jack Sparrow. So him and Martin Short would have more banter that would be funnier, would take more advantage of him. Mary Kay Place is a fantastic character actress. She'd have rolled with him too, with the little flirty stuff. All of that would have been there. So to me, Captain Jack Sparrow just increases the value of the comedy of that film, and that's what the question was: which film is better? I don't know. Is increased in quality by adding Jack Sparrow, and I think Captain Ron absolutely is.
Using that as finals.
Sure,
Go ahead,
sure,
Mike.
sure.
Final thoughts.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh. First of all, I just wanted to say, Waterworld, you cut to Jack Sparrow, it's like a different movie. There are not like a lot of fun antics, and it's not going to make any sense. It's a totally different tonal thing. Sure, maybe Captain Ron is a comedic and it would fit better, but Waterworld especially, like you would go like, well, what's this scene where Johnny Depp is acting like Keith Richards? It doesn't make any sense. All right, Lone Ranger. There are a lot of Native Americans in it, and what I probably didn't say is that Tonto comes back in the second act, played by a Native American.
Oh, I didn't know that, Mike. Oh.
Okay, that's the thing. I forgot it. We get heated in this stuff, and sometimes I don't say it.
Mid-fight twist.
Okay, I'm just saying that
what a twist.
If we're talking math, we're just talking like Verbinski, 2.5 hours, some good action sequences, plus Jack Sparrow equals good. That's a math problem, and I think that it always ends up with the same answer: a very good movie.
Coy, last thoughts.
2.5 hours Gore Verbinski pirate movie is Pirates 1. We have it. It doesn't need to happen again. And your argument is that mine would be tonally off. Lone Ranger is a drama, action, adventure movie. There are similar genres. I'm saying Lone Ranger and Captain Ron are decent films. Waterworld is not a decent film. It wasn't which is going to be the most logical insertion of Jack Sparrow. It was which is going to improve the movie the most. Mine goes from an F that literally almost sank an entire universe, an entire network studio. There we go, is the word. It almost sank an entire studio. These movies didn't affect cinema so direly that we look at it like a giant wart on the face of mankind. This would improve a film because it started as an F and might go to a D. These movies are okay, and it doesn't work for the same reasons as in Lone Ranger because it is a tonal shift, but it makes it better.
All right, Dan.
Quentin Tarantino did name The Lone Ranger as one of his favorites of 2013, along with other movies including Before Midnight, Gravity, Kick-Ass 2, and This Is the End. So unique as always.
He's got some taste.
John, you were half right about Captain Ron. Yes, his daughter is getting married, but she's 16 years old.
There
so-
you go. No. Who hasn't seen Captain Ron?
Wait a minute.
baby?
She's 19.
John,
you can't get
wait,
married
she's
at
getting
16.
married?
John,
16?
who am I going to believe? You or the many, many sources on the internet that prove that you're wrong?
Wait, she's getting married at 16?
No, see, that makes no sense. That's not legal in any state
That's
in
odd. I'm pretty
1992.
sure it is.
Yes,
but-
it is. Jerry Lee Lewis married his cousin when she was like 13.
Yeah, but that's why they passed the law after
Yeah,
that.
well, it depends what
in
state you're in.
1950.
I
Depends
guess in
what
the
state.
Caribbean that you can.
She's
I don't know.
19.
So is
I
19.
have
His
found
movie's creepy.
multiple sources that say that you're wrong, John. So
Give them my number. I'll talk to
Fake
them.
news.
International waters. 16, it's fine.
Fake news. International.
Where does
All
Captain
right.
Ron take place?
Anything else, Dan?
In the Caribbean.
no,
Okay.
no. Other than that, nothing to add.
All right. Yeah, 2.5 hours of Captain Ron.
Joking. I said I was joking.
You didn't joke when you said it. It was sort of a selling feature.
He sells things so well, you don't know.
Then you change your tune. And then I still hung up on is killing off Tonto, which was a whitewash cast,
I did
killing
not say
diversity.
killing
No,
Tonto.
but I'm first reacting to John's point there. I was like, is this is he right? It was a good argument there. And then Waterworld, yeah, I liked Waterworld.
Yeah, I liked it too.
So I was like, because a lot of your argument was like, it's not a decent film, it's not a decent film. I mean, I know a lot of people who like Waterworld, so I need a little bit more. You did give me a good point, though, of there were 8 pirates in that Pirates, the movie, in which no one liked. And then Lone Ranger, yeah, I mean, you did a lot of math there.
Yeah.
Captain Ron is the less good thing, and I loved that the selling points for John were that it stars 2 pervy dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Look, I think the math problem is probably the best point out of all of them.
Yeah, of course.
Oddly, Waterworld is kind of a fun movie. How is he going to go chase dirt? And I don't really want to watch 2 pervy guys with some 16-year-old girl. So Mike gets the point.
It's always the extra stuff you say that fucks you, man.
It's the math, man. I need more math.
Hey,
Dan, what did the fans say?
sometimes the brain gets ahead of the.
The fan
the
poll
logic.
said that 54% chose Waterworld, 33% chose Lone Ranger, and 13% chose Captain Rock.
Probably because I've never seen it.
All right.
Who
is fair.
won
Which is
that
fair.
round, by the way? I'm sorry.
Mike
I'm
got
trying to
that.
some
prove
more
John
water?
wrong
Somehow.
here.
Yeah, some water.
We could all do some
get
water.
it.
No, we got it's right here. He'll hand you the picture.
Okay.
All right, this one comes in from Ben Abramowitz. Sorry, did not say your name right, but you'll see it on screen. He wants to know what is the most unwatchable movie of all time. This is a tough one. You got to pick something that's unwatchable. All right, Coy, you're up first. Actually, why don't we just give me the movies so because we're in time, so we all know where we're arguing. Go ahead. What you're picking?
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill. Okay. John.
Batman vs. Robin.
Oh, I love these.
Or Batman and Robin,
Robin.
rather. Batman and Robin.
I thought I was confused by Mr. Batman.
And
my
Mike?
bad.
Disaster movie.
Oh,
Ring the bell.
the spoof one, right?
Oh, sure. It spoofs it all.
All right, we're back to you, Coy. Oh, wait a second.
Oh, I was
No,
so
it's-
afraid
it's-
this would happen.
It's Mike, isn't it? What? Oh, son of a bitch.
Trick question.
God, is it?
Guys, we want to know what is the most rewatchable movie of all time.
Jesus.
Coy, you're up first. Now, again, you got to sell this. That's what I'm listening. This is a pure debate. You have to tell me why Jack and Jill, Batman and Robin, or Disaster Movie is the most rewatchable movie of all time.
I hate you, Andy.
This is for the championship slot, guys.
wow.
You got to fight for this hard. All right, Coy, why is Jack and Jill the most rewatchable film of these three?
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, lay it
Big
down.
Daddy.
Lay it down, son.
Little Nicky.
Wow.
Nothing compared to the cinematic brilliance that is Jack and Jill. Now, Adam Sandler came back in a big way, playing multiple roles that should have gotten him an Oscar. The man played opposite himself, both male and female, showing the equality of man and woman. That is the true overarching nature of this film. It shows that both men and women should be seen as equal and even played by the same man. In a miraculous turn, he left for a little while. Happy Madison came back in a big way, boom, with Adam Sandler. Not only is this film so good that it brought in such titans of acting as Al Pacino and Johnny Depp, it did it with pizzazz that has you laughing and rolling in your seats. This movie is insightful. It's non-stop laughs. It's got cameos. It reminds you what you felt like in the 90s when you watched a good comedy, and it reminds you that a fart joke can go on for 10 minutes and be the best thing ever. Jack and Jill should be in the museum of film to be watched later by aliens so they know what we represented as a species and what our men and women were like together, and Adam Sandler should represent us. It's that good.
Wow. Okay,
That's
John,
a
why is
powerful-
Batman and Robin more rewatchable?
Let's talk about something. What's one guy who's untouchable? What's one guy who we love always, no matter if he's in shitty films or great films? If he's our governor, maybe our president, if they change that amendment, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, when you litter your film with esteemed actors like Kill Bill's Uma Thurman, Good Night and Good Luck, The Descendants, George Clooney, Chris O'Donnell kicking it in CSI, and then you give us a female superheroine like Batgirl coming in, Alicia Silverstone, fresh off the success of Clueless. This is an amazing cast. And you add to it Joel Schumacher and his unique view of Gotham. You've got yourself an amazingly rewatchable film. The style of the film is fantastic. The cinematography is great. The set dressing, the visual images, all of it is fantastic. Keeps you going. Arnold Schwarzenegger's one-liners are hilarious. They're brilliant. Mr. Freeze has never been more interesting or likable as an anti-hero than he is in this film, and Uma Thurman is never more gorgeous and beautiful and powerful as a villainess as she is in Poison Ivy. This is just a masterclass in acting of what you're watching throughout the whole film, and a masterclass in directing from Joel Schumacher, because he is taking on an action ride. You don't even mind the nipples. You don't even mind the back credit card. That's so awesome. We haven't seen that. A back credit card. What a brilliant thing to think about. Who would have thought that? He's so fantastic. And he's wrapping up the Batman quadrilogy once and for all with the best person to ever don the Batman outfit, best actor rather, George Clooney. What a phenomenal performance he gives here. He gives him nuance. He gives him, yes, dare I say it, gravitas.
Would you say the best Batman?
I would say the best for this argument, for this fight. Yes,
Yeah.
the best Batman
All
ever
right.
seen in the history of mankind. Yes, George Clooney. He's so powerful. Chris O'Donnell is in fantastic shape. That's one of the greatest asses I've ever seen in latex. All of that is so amazing. And plus the storyline. This is him. We get the drama of Mr. Freeze and his wife. Like, that's powerful stuff. You're being moved by the death of his wife. All of that is happening while Batman is trying to teach Robin to not be an impertinent fool, get himself in trouble. Then you have Robin with his relationship with Batgirl, and she's standing on her own, and her relation with Alfred. We give humanity to Alfred as well. He's more than just a butler. He is related to Batgirl. They have a connection. They have a love. All of that is just so amazing. It leads to a fantastic climax where everybody learns a lesson, and you walk away going, I can't wait till Schumacher makes the next one. I can't wait to see George Clooney as Batman again.
Mike, disaster movie. Why is it more rewatchable than the other ones?
Look, when you have a franchise of films,
Kung Fu Panda?
when you have a franchise of films, it is very hard to keep it fresh. Okay? When you are two filmmakers that start out and you have a dream and you want to keep something going, it's almost unbelievable to have it by 6, 7, 8, 9 films in for it still to be incredible. And this is what these gentlemen have done. They started with Scary Movie and they made it all the way to Disaster Movie. I mean, we remember other movies like Epic Movie, Meet the Spartans, and also in 2008. I mean, how many directors, writers are even making 2 movies in 1 year?
Woody
It's
Allen?
unbelievable. Woody Allen on occasion, but I mean, that's about it. Other than that, it's just a Scary Movie, guys. Disaster Movie is a cast of mostly unknowns. They come from out of nowhere, and we're blown away by their versatility, what they can do, and what different movies they can send up in unique and funny, hilarious ways. Now, look, I'm a fan of comedy, but I don't like a lot of this highbrow comedy. I don't like these Netflix comedy. I like simple. I like bass. I like blue-collar comedy. I like a working man kind of thing. I like guys falling down. I like farting. And I think a lot of people out there agree with me that falling down and farting is funny. That's what you're going to get in this movie, Disaster Movie. Now, you might think Disaster Movie, it's all going to just be parodying, movies where something goes wrong, something like, a bus goes off the freeway or something. No, you're incorrect. It's parodying everything. Superbad. It's parodying Iron Man, Kung Fu Panda. It doesn't even have a very specific thing it's parodying. That's what's so brilliant about this movie, is because the parodies move from one movie to another, hopping genres. How do they hold this whole thing together? I don't know. How are they going to take something like Kung Fu Panda 1 minute, then parody Superbad the next? It's unbelievable to watch. It's like Cloud Atlas, but they pulled it off. That is what Disaster Movie is. It's an amazing movie. I watch it once or twice a week. Disaster Movie 2008.
Wow. All right, guys. Fight this one out.
How do we fight? Do we destroy each other's movies? Is that how we fight?
Yeah, which one's
For
the-
God's sakes, you can't even name 2 of the characters in
Batman
that
and
movie.
Ruben is terrible.
Disaster Movie is the worst piece of shit ever. It's like Naked Gun raped Airplane and had a movie. That's what a Disaster Movie is. It's one of the worst comedies
No.
ever seen. There's not a funny moment. You
No
don't even
way.
kind of absently chuckle at any scene in
There's
Disaster
a
Movie.
scene
The
where a
fact
girl
you
gets
can't
hit by
even-
a car. There's a scene where some guy gets hit by a
Can you name 4 of
asteroid.
the actors in them? You can't even name
The
4.
actors, no, because they blend seamlessly into
Exactly,
the parts.
because they're boring as shit. Exactly. Right.
Except for Carmen Electra, who has a sexy wrestling
Well,
match in it.
who
I
can't
remember
remember
that.
That's fair.
The subject is rewatchability. Now, not only does mine have the drama of a brother and sister reunited with the pathos of Al Pacino struggling as a man who doesn't know if he wants to do a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. This man doesn't know if his integrity is so strong that he wants to do Dunkin' Donuts, be a corporate shill, but he also loves Adam Sandler in drag, which shows the equality of men and women. There's nothing more important in today's age than showing that a woman's looks aren't everything. And even Al Pacino can love you when you look like Adam Sandler. That's possible. Her gas problems are real life problems. Her constant need to impress is real. Adam Sandler is blood related to this woman and he can't stand her. Every single one of us can identify with that. I know that family things are real. I know that beauty is only skin deep in some people's eyes. These movies don't teach you lessons. When you rewatch my film, you laugh, you feel, you have drama. It's rewatchable because not only is it comedic, but it's also one of the best dramas of our time.
A, it's not a drama, and B, It
Subtext.
almost killed. I didn't think anyone could possibly kill Al Pacino's career. That almost killed Al Pacino's career. That
been
film
doing
is so
great.
incredibly terrible. And you know what? You know what Adam Sandler needs to do? Be in drag. You know why? Because there are too many roles for women in movies. Absolutely. There are too many roles for women in comedies. Definitely play a bunch of them. Definitely do what Eddie had already done. Definitely what Martin Lawrence had already done.
I mean, Bad
and do it
Nipples-
terribly. And then have a little Indian kid just to make sure anybody gets mad at you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it was such a terrible
We're
movie
talking
from
about
back to front. The
Clueless
script
is
is
Alicia
terrible.
Silverstone as Batgirl, who
She's-
barely speaks.
she's fantastic in the movie.
She talks out of the side of her mouth and just kind of stumbles
She
through.
does, but you can't
And
take
then
your eyes off her.
Arnold
She's so
Schwarzenegger,
amazing.
The biggest guy in
Yeah.
movies, plays a skinny, gaunt Mr. Freeze.
No,
that doesn't
he's
even
not
work.
gaunt at all.
And it's the worst of the Batmans. It doesn't even follow a comic. The way to insult comic
I
fans
don't
is to
think you're
ignore the
watching it
comics.
right.
I think Jack and Jill wasn't based on source material because it transcended the medium of filmmaking.
I think you're misunderstanding what Jack and Jill was by calling it a drama.
I think
it's a comedy.
It's a cinematic magnum opus, is what it is.
Now, Batman and Robin takes the Batman prop and elevates it to a whole nother level. It takes it to it expands the franchise. It pushes the boundaries of what you can do with the Batman franchise, what you can do with the Batman character. Alfred has emotion, has feelings. He's given something to do besides serving a motherfucker tea.
Everybody
He's
thought-
given something to do,
all he's
and that's
doing
fantastic.
is dying. He's dying of McGregor syndrome.
So
that's all he's doing.
That's
And
all
that's-
he's. But that's pain.
That's
Everybody thought,
depressing.
everybody thought Reign
And
Over Me
Alicia's
was
bringing
Adam
it.
Sandler. Adam Sandler coming out with Reign Over Me was like, oh, drama. And then he's like, no,
Punch
I
Drunk
can
Love.
do drama and comedy. I'm going to play two characters. And I don't know how he didn't get an Oscar for it. It was like being John Malkovich with Adam Sandler. It was so
Go ahead,
good.
Mike. I wanna get you.
The gags in Jack and Jill are very sophisticated, and they fly over a lot of people's heads. Adam Sandler is shooting for this highbrow New York latte sipping audience, and I think it's sort of disgusting. He used to be a man of the people, and now he's doing things that people. Honestly, you had to go to Harvard to understand some of the jokes in Jack and Jill.
There's
it's
an
insane.
amazing scene with a Mexican family playing in the park, and he not only identifies with the people in the park as an everyman, but he eats their food. And when he eats their food, he becomes very ill, but he doesn't blame these people because he's a man of the people. There's a grandma that can only be healed by eating jalapenos, which shows us not only does he
Most people
understand-
can't afford jalapenos in this country,
boy,
and
here
I
we
think
go.
it's insane that he's even putting something like that in the film. Batman and Robin, also, you have to have a degree in architecture to understand the buildings
Not
they're
at
going
all.
in.
Yours isn't
Not
even a
at all.
movie. It's a series of
It's a
events that
series
happen
of-
things.
it is a
That doesn't
movie.
even- That's not a movie.
There's not even a through line in
Fine,
the movie.
It's
You can
more of an
flip-
experience.
you can
It's
flip
more of an
experience.
experience.
It's not,
Fine.
it's not
experience
rewatchable.
nobody wants to experience.
It's not rewatchable because
No.
you can't watch it once. You can
You
flip
can't even
through
watch it
channels.
once.
You can flip through
Exactly.
channels and
No.
have the same
You know,
experience.
it's such a
That's
bad
what movies
movie
are.
that you can come back to it and not have missed a damn thing an hour
That's
later.
one
It's
of the
worst
things that's
movie
good
ever.
about it is
No,
that
it's
it
actually
goes
one
in
of
and
the
out.
worst about it.
It's a non-narrative structure. It's something that weaves in and out.
A non-narrative
highbrow
structure
now?
with lowbrow
Yes.
comedy.
So now the
that's
latte
yeah,
sipper
that's the
crowd.
only
Who's the latte
underlying
sipper
thing.
now?
Latte sipping crowd.
Well,
All right.
big lattes now.
Order, okay.
I think the problem with this film is that it doesn't have a through line, so the rewatchability is not there because you never know when you stopped watching, you never know when you start watching. This movie is purely comedic and it's meant to be a drama. My movie is both genres put together with a brilliant actor playing multiple roles with Al Pacino. That's everything you need. And you can watch it again and again for the comedy and the drama.
Using it as a final thoughts. Go ahead.
You have George Clooney at the top of his game, Uma Thurman at the top of her game, Alicia Stover at the peak of her prime as an actress, Chris O'Donnell as well coming off the Son of a Woman film. There's so much happening in this film that is fantastic and is enjoyable to watch, and there's campiness to it, and the campiness is fun. It's something different for Batman. It brings back the old Batman from the '60s with Burt Ward and Adam West and Eartha Kitt. It brings all of that back and makes it so much more fun and enjoyable and playful, and you get the really hard emotions because Batman does that. Batman can be cheesy, but then it has those moments where it really hits you in the heart. Freeze's wife, Alfred's dying. There's so much to deal with here with Batman. He's going through so much, and who do you cast? You got to cast someone like George Clooney to bring the right gravitas and drama to those parts, and also play the light comedy and train his Ward, his son, in essence, Robin, to understand, to take over the world, to be a man. And that's all that's happening. So there's so many lessons from this movie, and the action's fantastic, and the humor is brilliant. It's Schwarzenegger at his best with his comedy, with his one-liners that he's cultivated since the 80s. You have Uma Thurman at her sexiest. All of this makes the film eminently rewatchable over and over and over again. You could bring your family, watch it at Christmas, watch it at Thanksgiving. It's just a great film to share with the family over and over again. Great script, fantastic score as well, and some very deft direction from a very misunderstood Joel Schumacher.
Mike, final thoughts.
We're talking rewatchability. And when I think about that, you're going to see a movie like this on TV. You're going to see it on cable. And maybe you'll see it 20 minutes in. Maybe it'll be 40 minutes in. If you're going to see Jack and Jill or Batman and Robin, when you come in 30 minutes, you're going to be very confused. These are movies that have incredible plots. They're very dense, and you're not going to know what's going on. If Disaster Movie comes on, you're going to say, oh, this is a Superbad parody, and the guys are taking a duty or something. They're making poop, and then you're gonna go, oh, look at this, Kung Fu Panda just farted. And you're going to know exactly what's going on in the film. This is rewatchability. Cable is a big part of when you rewatch a movie. If you come in late, you're going to know what they're parodying, and you're going to know what's funny about it. Is it poop? Is it duty? Is somebody getting hit in the head?
Dan Merle.
I would recommend if anybody wants to have a good time, just go to the Wikipedia page for disaster movie and read the plot synopsis, because when it's written out for you in long form, it's
can you read it?
I'll read some of it. Let's see. Later that day, Will has a super duper sweet 16 party at his house, despite being 25. The guests include Junie, Dr. Phil, Will's, not played by Dr. Phil, by the way, Will's best friend Calvin, and Anton Chigurh, among others. Oh my God! No, it's.
See, it's funny when you say it.
Describing the experience. It's
The princess's pimp, Prince Edwin, challenges Calvin to a dance fight for her love, but a tornado appears, and Prince Edwin escapes. Iron Man, Hellboy, and the Hulk attempt to fight it, but all are defeated by cows thrown by the tornado. Mm-hmm. And it goes on.
Your comparison to Cloud Atlas really look, these are all great, but that Mike really got me laughing. And you had the most uphill battle. I gotta give Mike that point.
Damn.
Disaster movie is so much worse than those two movies.
I can't. We made it very clear that it was.
Unbelievable.
I thought he was dead in the water,
It's
but
unbelievable.
you really
I was
brought
like, this is
some
going to be a
the unknowns, bringing the versatility, the simple blue-collar comedy.
I hate Jack and Jill so much. That was so hard.
You all were brilliant, but Mike took it a little bit to another level there, so I had to reward that. Dan, what did they say online?
Christ.
How do you even judge that online?
Hope people use this out of context for all of you.
I know, right?
I got a new reel, guys.
72% actually voted for Batman and Robin, 12% for Jack and Jill, and 16% for
No
Disaster.
surprise there.
No.
All right, I had to treat that based on the arguments, and man, Mike really brought it there. That was rough.
That's where being a comedian comes in.
Yeah, that was some art, sir.
That's for thousands of dollars of improv.
Mom, I did this.
All right, here we go. Number 5. All comes down to this. This comes from Justin Reese, but do we have the Spider-Man Homecoming poster? We do. This was the new poster that dropped. There's a lot going on.
It's so bad.
What
is going on, Sony? We're excited. We
We're
want to
already
see
there.
this movie. What do you don't got to put Happy Hogan on it.
Yeah, right?
It's like,
He's looking very slender,
who's the
too.
guy with the purple lights, and we got 2 vultures on it? Like, what is going on?
2 Spider-Mans.
It's ridiculous.
2 Iron Mans.
2 Iron
Two
Mans.
Iron Mans.
There's a lot of everyone happening in this
This was like,
poster.
I can't believe this got through, and someone's like, yes, that one.
This is what happens when your agents in the room negotiate.
We've got an elbow available. Can we put the
I need
shocker?
2 tone, right? 2. Anyway, in honor of that, which was getting made fun of a lot, and we will be making fun of it a lot more in Flickbait tomorrow, 4 p.m. Screen Junkies News. Join us live. Watch us as always on Fridays. We wanted to ask, what's the worst movie poster? Comes from Justin Reese. We're going to go to you, Coy. We have your posters ready, so cue it when you're ready. But what is the worst movie poster?
I remember seeing this poster in theaters, and I remember knowing I would never see the movie, and that is Bangkok Dangerous. Now, this is a poster that makes so little sense in every possible facet. Now, is he on fire? I don't know. Is that hand his? Certainly not. Does he have a black hole in his armpit? Presumably. Does that jacket belong to Nicolas Cage? No, it doesn't. Has Nick Cage had a neck? Not since the 90s. What is going on in this image that makes sense? Absolutely nothing. And in the background is a city, maybe? And is he behind glass? Is he in a phone booth? What's going on with those bullet holes? Is he running from something? There's literally so much going on in this poster that it makes you understand the movie less. The point of a poster is to tell a story in an image, a picture says 1,000 words, and to tell you to go see the movie. All I know about Bangkok Dangerous out of that poster is that it's about a man with a portal in his armpit that can't dress himself, that might have a hairpiece, that might have been Nick Cage a few Photoshops ago, and it's for some reason in black and white with bullet holes.
What's the tagline?
It's all in the execution.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now,
So should
I
we sum
also
it
need
all
to
up?
point
Okay.
out, now, that's a pun on...
We'll be taking the taglines in account too. Okay.
It's all in the execution is apparently this is a Hitman movie. Now, from that image, not only is there not a gun, which is in every Hitman movie, he doesn't look like a Hitman. All I see when I see it's all in the execution is it making fun of itself. It's all in the execution. We couldn't even execute a trailer or a poster for this film. Please don't see this movie starring Nicolas Cage.
All right, John Roca, what poster are you picking?
Listen, everyone knows the worst movie poster ever is Superman 3. Let's take a look at this thing. Look at that stupid poster. You have Christopher Reeve, who had just come off Superman 1 and 2, Richard Donner directed masterpieces, and he is carrying what used to be one of the edgiest comics on race and drug abuse and everything in this country, Richard Pryor. Coming out of the 70s, he is a comedy icon, and they're turning him into an Uncle Tom, a step and fetch it. It is so terrible. And he's carrying him like he carries a woman. A white man carrying a black man like that, because it can't, like, there's so much about this poster that is terrible all on its own. Why is he flying in the middle of the Grand Canyon for no reason at all? Nothing about this poster makes you want to go see this film at all. It's drawn in a cheesy way. He's got an uncomfortable look on his face. Like, I don't know what he's like trying to say with that look. There's a lot going on that's uncomfortable for me to look at, and it's just pissing away what they had set up already in this fantastic franchise with 1 and 2. You come out with something crappy like this poster and you go, oh no. And of course, the film was terrible. 4 was even worse, and it sank the whole franchise until we had to get it revived by Zack Snyder with Man of Steel. And so this poster, it's like, you love Superman. You want to be behind Superman. You want to see something powerful and majestic and regal and noble and graceful. That's what Superman is. He's the best of us. And in this, he's a cheesy guy carrying Richard Pryor, screaming, doing what is in essence an Uncle Tom thing. And it drives me insane to watch this, to see this poster, because it does take away what was one of the most edgiest comics in the history of mankind. People still talk about him. People still listen to his albums from the 70s and know he did fantastic. He wrote Blazing Saddles with Mel Brooks, for God's sakes. So to see him like screaming, all you're missing is the big eyes. If you hit the big eyes, then you've hit all the buttons that you need to hit from those racist posters from the 20s and 30s. So to me, this is such a terrible poster because it does not convey what you want Superman to convey, which is grace and nobility, power. They should be together. They should be standing somewhere together, because he's a computer genius. He's a computer genius in the movie, and they pick him like a crybaby little guy holding and screaming.
All right.
And that's just
well,
ridiculous.
I think it's because Superman can fly and he cannot, is the guess. But
Sure.
Mike.
He's saving him.
No, he isn't.
All right. Well, we'll hear more.
So a
Mike.
black man needs to be saved by a white man. Okay.
Well,
All
because
right.
he can't
Can
fly.
we do that?
It depends. He picks up all colors.
I've seen the movie Crash.
A table full of white men.
We've seen
table full of
Crash.
white men.
We've seen Crash.
Not back then, numbnuts.
All right.
Just make your argument.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Avengers.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
So bring it up.
Why?
Look at this poster.
It's a great poster.
It looks like it's like color forms. It looks like a kid just put their different stickers around a spot, and the spatial relationship to each other is all strange, and like there's clearly an attack, and some of them are very calm and some of them are not calm, and Downey Jr. is just like his arms just hanging out there, and clearly that's not his head, and it's a head on a different body. This is a poster that should be for this is one of the biggest movies of all time, one of the most exciting movies of all time, and it looks, if you took away the Marvel and Avengers and you put like Sci-Fi's The Avengers with an E on it, you would go, oh yeah, that looks like that. That looks about right. And you replaced all the actors with like the stars of disaster movie,
which you can't name, but yes,
I can't. So yeah, it's crazy when you're looking at this thing that this is the poster for the biggest, third biggest, whatever it is, movie of all time. You're like, and it's it's not as, it's. I don't know. It's just bad. It's just so bad, and I think it's especially bad because of what size of a movie it is for. That's why I think it makes it the worst.
All right, guys, fight it out.
I think you're absolutely crazy. Avengers is a fantastic poster.
Your argument is that if you change everything about it, it's bad.
It's bad.
You just said if you change the thing in it and you change that thing in it, the poster.
No, I'm
is fantastic.
I'm saying it would make sense that it was a schlocky sci-fi movie. No
If
one
you
would bat an eye and go,
change
"Wow, look at this high-budget poster
The
for
beauty
this
of
movie."
the Avengers is the moment they all come together.
Yeah.
That is the moment they all come together.
Yep.
That is, it shows you the logo. It shows you the date cleverly with the logo. The Avengers A is the May. It
Yep.
shows you a beautiful third act. It makes you see the actors in character,
Yep.
all playing the character at the time.
And all
That is
posing.
And that is exactly what a comic book
When
poster
they
would
come
look like.
together,
It
they're
looks-
posing.
The beauty of a comic book poster is to make you feel like you're about to
If
experience
they
a
were
comic.
all
Now,
back to back
I
like they're in the
also-
movie, that would be cool.
No, but
also
you don't
feel
fight
like-
back to back.
Yeah,
They
they
do
fight-
in the movie. Have you ever fought with
That
more
was
than
the
one person?
spinning. They're spinning
Yeah,
around.
but
It's
they're
the
not
shot.
back to back. They're
how do
just
you-
next to
how
each
do
other,
you
like
take
they are in the
How do you
poster.
take a still image with 3 people standing back to? You can't.
Yeah.
You'd miss a
Yeah.
person. That
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
work. This is the only way to show everybody you need to. This shows all the Avengers dynamically set up, and I think the reason that the Superman poster works is because in the 70s and 80s, there's a lot of cameo guest stars from like there's a Bill Murray comic with him, a Belushi comic with him on the cover. There's a lot of classic. There's a Muhammad Ali fighting Superman. There's a lot of classic comics that feature an actor and a comic book character on the cover. This to me is an homage to that with the drawing and the style they did here. I love that it's a hand-drawn cover. I love it feels classic. I love the Grand Canyon. I love the scope of it. I love the flavor. This feels like a comic I would pick up and I would read and I would enjoy, and that's what I wanted the movie to be. So the poster is actually better than the movie.
This makes the movie look good.
You're
Looks
both,
look great.
you're both absolutely insane. This is
No.
a ridiculously terrible, stupid post. Right? What you said about Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali isn't being carried by Superman, is he? He's going toe to toe with him. That's the difference. They're turning him into a lesser than. And this is one of the greatest comics, one of the most powerful, edgy comics ever. And you're turning him into essentially a damsel in distress.
Superman
And that's
carries
ridiculous. But that's ridiculous.
How would
They
he
could be
save him
standing
otherwise?
together because he could be a computer and he could be flying
he's
to help
flying
him.
at all of
There's
them
all
now.
kinds of.
But Superman always flies in the poster, so you can't like ride
Why
his
does he have to
back.
carry him?
God, where would he be?
That's the thing.
Is he standing on the Grand
I heard
Canyon?
enough this round. Yeah. Mike picked a kind of a bad Photoshop job, but it still got us excited. And I have no idea what we're talking about, John. He's sort of a silly comic relief, and Superman's saving him. Coy, your poster's ridiculous. Coy gets the point.
I didn't even say anything about it.
That's not fair. Yeah, you could make this race argument, but I think you're just stretching there. It's like in the movie, he's sort of the silly guy. He can't fly.
I'll send
Superman's
you-
saving him.
I'll send you 5
I
articles.
just didn't want to get into that for sure, but
Okay.
I don't want to get all in the politics of it. He's a silly, goofy character. That's what Richard Pryor's playing.
It's all
and
the execution.
Avengers. Weird choice. I thought there'd be more to it, but I just didn't hear it. I don't want to waste the time. Dan Merle, what do you think? Based on the comments. Are you glad I cut that early? Yes. All right, but that means Coy, you're in the finals against Mike. But John, look, I know you always think I'm trying to screw you. I thought you did a great job, and I love when you play, and you were very close. You're still in this. Now you get to help decide in the speed round.
Sure.
Help us judge here where this goes. Let's do this. Speed round. We're in it. These are all chosen by the fans. Yes, guys? They should be?
Oh,
yes,
that's exciting.
good. Speed rounds, all fan choice. Oh yeah, we got some crazy ones. Here we go. John, you'll be helping to dictate who goes here. So if you're feeling mean against one of these guys, you can use it if you want.
Taking the hood down.
Disaster movie.
Based on the arguments, here we go. Dan can't help, only you can. All right, number 1. This one comes from Travis of Marvel. Who would you rather hang out with for a whole day? Rob Schneider or Pauly Shore?
Pauly Shore.
Rob Schneider.
Okay, Mike, you got Schneider.
No, I got Pauly Shore.
Oh, you said Pauly Shore, sorry. Pauly. And Coy has, that's right, Rob. All right, whenever you're ready, Mike.
I've done it. I worked for him. It was my first job in LA, and I was up at his house, and he's a very relaxed, mellow kind of guy. I know exactly what I'm getting. He has a nice house. He had a nice girlfriend who made me a sandwich. This is all true. I swear to God. I can give you the address off the air, and I know what it's like. I know he's a very nice guy. Yeah, sure, he's the weasel, and he does all that stuff, but like I got paid on time. There was no problem with it.
All right, Coy. Take a moment if you need it.
Rob Schneider not only seems like a nice guy off camera, but he also has a versatility to him where I wouldn't just hear the one and like the style of speech that would drive me insane. He's actually a guy that can play other things, and he's tried. It's just that that's how people wanted from him. I think Rob Schneider the person, Rob Schneider the actor of everything things, and I would enjoy Rob Schneider the person because I have no idea what that guy is, and he seems like a nice guy, and he's done good work beyond the work that we've seen him do because he's got a versatility to him that Pauly Shore doesn't.
Ooh, there was the speed came in there. All right, Mike, 10 seconds.
I got good anecdotes from him. I probably can't tell them, but he has got memorabilia all over the house, and it was really cool walking around and going like, oh, he's got a poster signed from Woody Allen, like to Pauly. I think he said, "Love your work, babe," and I was like, that's crazy.
Having not hung out with Rob Schneider, I can't say exactly what's going on, but I've heard nothing about Pauly Shore the Man, just about how you had a good time with his sandwiches and things. I don't know what about him, but I think Rob Schneider's probably a nice guy, and I know more about that experience than yours that is kind of tangentially related. I don't hang out with Rob Schneider.
All right, well, John, it feels like Mike had a little bit of an unfair advantage. That's real insight there.
But I think Coy made a great point where he spoke about his experiences rather than the man. And I think he made more about the man, and he even in his speed, you could get what he was trying to get about Rob Schneider. So I would vote for Coy on this, although this was very, very close until he said what he said right at the end.
And he did go, yeah, it's true. We talked about the sandwich and the memorabilia and the wood.
But not
Very
the
nice
personality.
Guy, who would you rather hang out with for a whole day?
Sandwiches are part of hanging out.
I'm surprised.
See, that's what I'm saying. Well, yeah, I was getting there. Don't team.
Sorry.
Because if you're hanging out with him, you're going to be in his big house, seeing all the memorabilia, and that does sound pretty entertaining. I just think, good point, close, but I just think Mike sadly had a little one up on you there, Corey.
There was no chance. That
was tough.
I'm not with Rob Schneider.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Mitzi Shore, that you would get to go to the comedy store and stuff through Paul.
I did go to the comedy store. Mitzi, though, I never met.
Great thing.
Mitzi has
all right,
been
so Mike
alien.
gets the first point. We're back. Yeah, all right, good. We're even. All right, great. Here we go. This one comes in from. Hold on, just choosing. Okay. This one comes in from. Oh wait, sorry, I'm making sure I have the best ones here. Okay. Who? Oh, sorry. This is from Milan Darling. Who is the best robot character in a movie?
Ooh. Shit.
R2D2.
There's so many that are great. I love R2D2.
Speaking of clickbait, it's coming up next tomorrow Friday while Coy figures this out.
Gotta put the timer on here at some point.
4, 3.
Does Blade Runner count? Does Harrison Ford?
Well, he's not definitively.
That was the question, because I've always considered him that.
Well, he's not
He
definitive.
does not. He's not.
3.
The other guy.
The other guy in Blade Runner. What's his name?
Yeah,
I'm picturing him, and I've got
There's
ideas.
a lot of
I've got
robots,
information.
man. 2, 1.
C-3PO.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Now we got it.
All right.
That's interesting.
Age-old debate.
All right, Mike, whenever you're ready.
All right, R2D2, he's a robot, and when we talk about robot characters, we want fun, but we also want expressive and likable. R2D2 is able to be funny and likable, and he doesn't even say a word, which is amazing. He's the most iconic robot of all time, and as far as C-3PO is concerned, he's more annoying. R2D2 is like almost the cool, level-headed one that I think everyone would agree is the more popular choice. I think that R2D2 ultimately ends up being more iconic than...
Coy?
R2D2 is interpretively interesting. C-3PO actually has dialogue, he has versatility, he feels things, he translates. He's the most usable character, so not only is he interesting and comedic, but he also actually does things as a translator. He has more uses and he's comedic. So with the writing of the character, there's more involved and there's more investment, and he loses an arm, you care about him, there's actually things going forward. You emote more to C-3PO than you do R2D2.
C-3PO is a more annoying character, and I think he's more divisive among people. I think R2-D2 is almost universally beloved, and as far as the arm, R2-D2 also wakes up, so he does things too. He doesn't just...
10 seconds.
R2-D2's on-off switch doesn't count as a character development. My character actually has an arc. He actually translates things. Without C-3PO, R2-D2 wouldn't get his point across. You need R2-D2 with C-3PO. C-3PO is the core, the linchpin of the duo.
Ooh.
Does he have an arc? That's interesting. Yeah, John, what do you think?
He does have an arc if you stated the fact that he said in New Hope that he is not a storyteller, and then by Jedi he is telling stories. That would have been the arc to say, which would have validated your argument more. I feel like he made a better argument this time around because of the versatility of R2-D2. You're right. That's why we love him as much, and you didn't speak as much about why we enjoy C-3PO so much.
I agree. Mike gets the second point. So Coy, you got to get this one. Here we go.
Sorry, Coy.
And he spills oil all over the place when he's in that one scene in the attack.
How I didn't
This
think
one-
of Vision will haunt me the rest of my day.
Wally, Wally, K2SO,
Wally would have been
Short
great.
Circuit.
As soon as it said R2, I was like, I'm stuck in R2. R2.
robots.
Wally was one of my choices for that
Any
original question.
I would have
Yeah,
taken
yeah.
a Terminator, right?
Terminator's a robot?
Yeah, he's a robot. Oh, man.
By the way, it's Rutger Hauer is
For
there.
the purposes of the question, I think
Yes,
we could give
for
a
that.
broad
I would've
definition.
Roy Batty.
Here we go. Number 3. This comes from Archway Zero. What is the best movie office to work in?
Oh. Andy, I'm going insane.
Does it have to be a traditional office with like cubicles and stuff?
It has to be a place of business.
The Avengers Tower?
Sure.
Is that play?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, Anchorman offices.
All right. Anchorman versus Avengers. I like this. Mike, you're up first.
All right, Avengers Tower, state of the art. And as I was saying before, a big part of it is eating sandwiches. Tony Stark has access to probably the best sandwiches, the best cooks. That's going to be incredible. As far as sleeping arrangements, he has the top of the line beds. He has like the sleep number bed. I'm sure it's whatever you want. It probably has two sides that are different. You can have a woman or a man sleep next to you, and they won't even feel it if you get into bed. It is going to be incredible. It has weapons. It has protection. You will be safe there.
My office features the height of comedy at all times. You've got Paul Rudd, you've got Will Ferrell at the height of their game. You've also got crazy hijinks of news. You can always be entertained, and you're going to have the best choice of seeing the entertainment through the best versatility. That office would be fun to go to every day, and it's always hijinks, and you're not in danger. You're not going to die. This office is always trying to be killed and destroyed. There are aliens coming to kill you. Mine is safe and funny and just as entertaining without the imminent doom.
The Anchorman office said there's going to be rampant sexual and racist aggravation. It's going to be insane, and there's going to be violence. You're going to have constantly, there's a woman and a man fighting all of a sudden, and it's going to be maybe funny, but after a while, you're going to...
I would take a woman and a man fighting over a robot and a giant gods from outer space fighting. Mine is much safer while still being as entertaining, still funny, and I get all the news from the best source, and I'm constantly laughing, and I'm safe, and it's important to me to be safe when I'm at the office.
Yeah, Coy got the safe thing. If Mike had brought in the whole trident and all that stuff, maybe.
The bear,
you were close.
The bear fight.
The argument of the man and the woman, though, would get really annoying after a while, but still, I think I got it right, John. The safety there, I think.
What office has sleep number beds? I want to go. Is that
Over there?
Is it like
All
Google?
right.
Do you have nap places?
You're still in this, Coy. You need to get this one to win, correct? Yes.
I need one
You
more to
click-
win?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Oh, he needs to get this
He
to win.
needs to get this to win.
Right, because
To
it's
keep
stay in
going.
the game.
Stay in
Got
the
it.
game, sorry.
Right.
All right, this comes from DJ69 So Fine.
Cool. Cool
What
name.
what actor should join Arnold and Danny DeVito in the upcoming Triplets movie?
Dave Chappelle.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Okay. Coy, you're up first this time. He's got to take a second to send that one in.
The beauty of twins is the beautiful imagery of little Danny DeVito and giant Arnold Schwarzenegger. You add the triplet of Dave Chappelle, who is coming back and is finally on a return comedy tour. You have comedy in three different aspects, three different flavors of comedy, all in one beautiful package. And the imagery, the stark difference between Arnold and DeVito, Dave Chappelle is the most iconic poster I can picture. I want this triplets movie because it's funny, it's dramatic, and we need something that big.
Okay, these are all guys that are about the same age. That's not that funny. We want somebody where there's a 40-year age difference, okay? So Chloe Grace Moretz, who's 4 years younger, and yeah, they're going to explain it by the fact that when they were both born, there was an egg that was taken out of their mother and it's been incubated for over 40 years. Now they have to learn that this is their sister? It's insane. How are they going to get along? What about texting? Millennials? Hashtags? How are they going to know any of this stuff? This is...
All right, Coy, 10 seconds. Use them wisely.
What was the last Chloe Grace Moretz movie you enjoyed versus how much you want Dave Chappelle to come back? I want a movie that I'm already looking forward to seeing, already bought the ticket for. Dave Chappelle, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito, that beautiful imagery, that kind of comedy. I'm already buying the ticket. Chloe Grace Moretz, she's out of her prime.
Chloe Grace Moretz is in her prime. Yes, certainly Kick-Ass is my last favorite. But what was the movie Dave Chappelle? Half-Baked? Guys, we don't even know that he's a proven actor. He's an amazing stand-up comedian. Chloe Grace Moretz has the goods. She can deliver comedy and action.
Ooh, it got good there. I was hoping he would pull out Sorority Rising, Neighbors 2.
Oh, yeah, yes.
He didn't, so he can't do that. But he did bring up Kick-Ass, so he did answer the question. Chappelle is in the prime, but then I got stuck on, can Chappelle still act? What are your thoughts, John?
My thoughts are that your point, and I want to give you the point, is because you said the hashtag, all that stuff, that brings comedy gold, because those two guys aren't going to know what that is. She's going to help them go from adventure to adventure, because she's going to know how to get them in and out of these situations, and it causes comedy gold. Going, what is a selfie? You know, there's all kinds of jokes.
What is a selfie is going to be on the poster.
Right. Whereas I like the idea of Chappelle, but you're right. Chappelle's not a proven actor. We don't know what he can do past Half-Baked. And his comedy specials have been uneven. Those two Netflix ones were uneven.
All right, it's up to me. I was with you, but then when you had the hit back of is he even still a proven actor?
Yeah.
That's a very good point. No. I got to give it to Mike. That means Mike takes the win. Congratulations! Wow, I did not think that was going to happen from Chloe Grace.
That was a great choice. Defended it well.
Bravo! That means Mike Carlson will be back in 2 weeks to tackle JTE in the booth and Scott Movie Mance to win that seat against the man. How are you feeling, Dan, about that show and now your next potential component.
I mean, could you pick 3 more different competitors to potentially have to fight for the belt? That is going to be... I don't know how to approach any one of those 3, so we'll have to see how the semifinal plays out. It's going to be a fight. No matter which one of those 3 it is, it's going to be a fight to the finish.
It sure is, and I got to thank you 3 for coming out, and thanks to fans for voting you, because that was a great show. So glad you came back. Mike Carlson, at Fat Carlson on Twitter. Anything else you'd like to plug?
Yeah, the thing, I'm in Netflix. I'm in a little part in Jeff Garland's Handsome on
nice.
Netflix. See that. I'm in a little part in a show called Complicated that just premiered on a streaming service called Vubu.
Is that a real one?
Well,
Saying sounds.
well, look at my Twitter. Craig Healy, former host of Clip Cup, Funny or Die's
I love
Clip Cup.
Cup,
Yes,
yes.
and Clip Cup. That Craig Healy has had his started. He has his own like dramatic comedy show now. So it's a 30-minute special, like a 30-minute
Okay, I'm gonna
show,
watch this.
and you should watch it. And I have a little part in that. So
Clip Cup,
go to my
parts
Twitter.
1 through 4. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's called Complicated, and go to my Twitter, and you'll see it there. Thank you very much.
All right, Coy, where would you like to send the folks?
You can find me at CoyJandreau on Twitter and Instagram, and I was inspired by the speed round stuff. I'm doing like minute reviews on stuff you guys tell me to review. So basically, I'm using the powers I've honed here in this environment to do like comic reviews, movie reviews, like all the media we all enjoy, but I'm trying to get a lot out at you in a minute, and it's been really fun. You guys have been receptive. So Instagram, you can see those. Twitter, you can see those. And thank you again for getting me back here. This was a blast.
Yeah, please come back anytime as well. John Roca, please come back anytime. Love the energy, passion, outlaw. What do you got brewing?
Hey, you guys got to always find me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Every Friday on Collider Movie Talk at 10 a.m. And my new podcast, it just debuted 4 weeks ago, Outlaw Nation. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff that's in the geek world. Like we just covered the Batman with Amy Awesome. I had her as my guest with
She's
the episode
great.
that dropped today.
Yeah.
We talked about Zack Snyder leaving the Justice League. David Griffin came on to talk the Alien franchise. So whatever you're interested in, whatever you like, politics, sports, not just the geek and nerd stuff, not just film and TV, not just video games, all kinds of stuff we
I
talk
wanna
about.
get in on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
I'd love to have all you guys come on and talk. And so it's a blast. So guys, go there. And then I just closed a deal on a new show that's going to debut in a couple weeks. And I'm really, really excited for this because it's 2 of my older friends. One's a former executive at Hasbro, who's executive producer of My Little Pony movie. Another friend of mine who's a fantastic actor on TV. So we're going to create a whole new 3-person show. We're going to do it on YouTube. So that's coming out soon. And we will announce that when we're ready.
Love it.
Thank you,
All
guys.
right, look
And
forward
thank
to
you
that.
for having me back. Thank
Of
you.
course. Thanks for
and
coming,
thanks for
dude.
voting on me.
Yeah, you were great. Dan Merle at Merle Dan.
Admiral Dan. Dan's Lab every Monday except for this week. It'll be on Tuesday because of Memorial Day on Screen Junkies Plus. We're doing summer movie report inside Dan's Lab. It's all kinds of fun stuff. We're having a
Fun
good time.
stuff.
Yeah.
You had Lance Henderson. I had
Lance Henderson
surprise you
popped
last
on.
week
Yeah,
on your
that was
Alien
fun.
Covenant review.
That was fun. Every thing left my body. I couldn't think of anything to say. Any questions to
I
ask?
was interrupted screaming, and you thought I was just being a jerk, and then you're like, "Oh wait, that's Bishop."
Yeah.
That was
fun
to watch.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Tune in there, and tune in to Flickbait every Friday, 4 p.m. We have to pre-tape this one because of the holiday. We're taping it tomorrow morning, but you'll still be able to catch it on YouTube afterwards, and on YouTube on Screen Junkies News, 4 p.m. every Friday. Live, join us, and thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for viewing choice in these 3, and please stay tuned. Next week, DC fights. It's going to be great. Next week, it's time for the final championship battle. JTE, Scott Mantz, and Mike Carlson. One of them will take on the champ for the belt. It's finally happening. I can't wait. No pressure there, Dan. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.